Associated Press Player of the Year, Ralph Sampson. A 7'4" sophomore some experts said was as dominant a player as Lou Alcindor or Bill Walton had been at UCLA. North Carolina was hoping for revenge in this third encounter of 1981. The Tar Heels were ready with an awesome front line, headed by All-America and 1980 U.S. Olympic standout Al Wood. In the first ever All-Atlantic Coast Conference NCAA semifinal, Jeff Jones fed Jeff Lamp, Virginia's other All-America, for his second consecutive baseline shot, putting the Cavaliers on top 4-2. Sampson received a sampling of what he could expect for the day when Jimmy Black stole the ball. Black hit freshman center Sam Perkins for the equalizer. Freshman guard Othell Wilson hit his third consecutive shot with under 12 minutes until intermission, putting the Cavaliers on top 10-6. Wood retaliated over Virginia's zone. Virginia had a 12-8 lead when James Worthy tried a stuff and drew Sampson's first personal, much to his dislike. Wood brought Carolina within 2 at 15-13 on a 17-footer with about 9 minutes left in the half. Sampson was squeezed by a tough 1-3-1 Carolina zone designed to pressure him inside. Stick still managed to find the basket on this maneuver, putting the Cavs on top 17-14. Worthy closed the gap to 1. Followed with a turnaround off Black's assist. Cavalier reserve Lewis Lattimore had a tip-in between Worthy's shots, and it still was a 1-point lead for Virginia, 19-18. Lamp and Lee Raker to Sampson. Another score inside. Raker's layup off Jones' pass put the Cavaliers up 23-21 with less than 2 minutes remaining in the half. Wood tied the game at 23, and free throws by both teams netted the score at 25 with under a minute. Carolina decided to go for the last shot. Went to its bread and butter man, Wood, who put the Tar Heels ahead 27-25 with 7 seconds on the clock. Raker quickly put the ball in play to Jones. Jones hustled up court, fired a bullseye as the buzzer sounded. Dean Smith knew his team had let up as the teams headed for the locker room. Wood led all scorers with 14 points, but more importantly, Carolina had limited Sampson to 4 shots, 5 points, and just 3 rebounds. Action in the second half resembled that of the first, as neither team could find a break and a decisive lead. Black drove the lane. Sampson was called for goaltending. Virginia 30, North Carolina 29. Black hit a key basket, followed by another by Perkins. Black went for it again with 15 minutes to go in the game when Sampson was called for another goaltending violation. North Carolina suddenly found itself with a 36-30 lead. Sampson was continually frustrated by Perkins and his defensive accomplice Worthy. Wilson also had his problems. Meanwhile, the Tar Heels certainly had to remember blowing leads in their 2 earlier games against Virginia. A field goal by Raker and 2 free throws by Sampson made up the deficit. Raker tallied an easy layup off an assist by Lamp and connected for a 3-point play on Worthy's foul and tied the game at 37. Put Carolina ahead 39-37. With 12 and a half minutes remaining in the game, Virginia would never catch up. With the preliminary entertainment concluded, the Al Wood Show became the main attraction. The 6'6" senior sharpshooter from Gray, Georgia, needed only 3 minutes to hit Carolina's next 13 points. It was an incredible one-man performance. This 3-point play put the Tar Heels up 44-37. Virginia had switched to a box-and-1 defense and finally to man-to-man. Jones and then Wilson tried their best. No good. Sampson was still having his problems. Perkins wasn't intimidated and even seemed to enjoy his assignment on the big man. Guess who? Wood. You believe? Carolina did, and Virginia certainly had to start confirming any doubts. Tar Heels 48, Cavaliers 37. Wood's 9 points plus 2 by Black had outscored Virginia 11-0. Jones hit 2 shots, including a 3-point baseline drive, and was fouled by Wood. North Carolina 48, Virginia 42. The Cavaliers tried to pressure Carolina into believing number 3 was not the charm, and another second-half nightmare was in the works. Someone forgot to tell Wood. Jones narrowed the score to 6 at 52-46. Just over 8 minutes remain. Perkins missed on an out-of-bounds play, but alertly put it back up. Sampson was called for his 3rd goaltending violation of the half and reflected his total frustration. Carolina 54, Virginia 46. Worthy blocked Jones' shot, and Wood was off to the races. Perkins was at the finish and put the Heels on top by 10 with 6.5 minutes remaining. Wilson wasn't about to give up when he narrowed the score to 60-52. Wood continued his destruction, and Lamp was detected for knocking on Wood, who tallied his 35th point on the foul shot, breaking his career high of 34. With 2 minutes to go, Carolina had built a 72-56 lead when Wood hit again. Wood scored once more for his 39th point, breaking Jerry West's national semifinal record of 38 for West Virginia back in 1959. He had 25 points in the second half, all with just over 13 minutes left in the game.
The offensive performance he displayed against the University of Virginia is one of the finest overall games I've ever seen a college player enjoy.
North Carolina 78, Virginia 65.